Last year I customized these champagne glasses with some paint and I didn't cure it, so it was removable, so I just scraped it off, and now I'm going to use the same stencils that I used last year, and this year I'm going to etch using Etchall. So I'm using the blue stencils because they are perfect for glass. The purple are a little too sticky and they can distort when you try to remove them from glass, so I like to use the blue on glass. So because this is a multi-curved surface, it curves around this way and it curves this way. You want to make sure that you are getting a very good seal on all of the parts of your artwork where the etching cream will be, so that it doesn't seep under any of the edges. You want to make sure you don't have any wrinkles. And I always use the white squeegee to sort of burnish the stencil down to make sure it's sticking really well. And that there's no bubbles. So that looks good. So I will be using my Etchall Etching Creme. This is my favorite etching cream to use with our stencils. And basically, I just glob it on there and make sure it's in all of the mesh openings. And I'm just using a little spatula. And this etching cream is reusable, so after it etches, I can scrape it off of here and put it back in the jar and use it again, over and over again. So you really use a very tiny amount for each project that you're doing. So like I said, I'm just making sure that I'm really getting it through the mesh. So I am using a little bit of pressure just to make sure all of my mesh openings are definitely covered with the cream. All right. And that looks good. And that just has to sit for 15 minutes. So while that's sitting, I will do my other two glasses. And on this one where I have the paint, I am going to try some hand painted dots. So I'm just using this little silicone tool. And I'm just going to etch some random dots all over the glass. So we'll just let those dots sit for 15 minutes and wipe them off. All right, now that it's been 15 minutes, I can just scrape off the extra. And like I said, that is reusable, so you can just put it right back in the jar. And I let this sit on a little longer than 15 minutes, so that's why this looks so crusty. But it'll still work fine. You just want to scrape most of it off of your stencils because it is an etching cream, so you want to put as little of it as possible down your drain. And these stencils are reusable. So now I'll just go wash that off and I'll wash my stencils. So now my stencils are washed out, and I'm just going to cut up some release paper. And the release paper works really good for the stencils. You don't have to worry about it being the exact size, but it will still protect the adhesive. So these release sheets are available on our website as well. So now these stencils will be good to go, and I can use them again. All right, so the etching on the glass all turned out great. It's kind of hard to see in the video, but we are going to add some color. So I either have rub and buff, I have ebony, silver leaf, Spanish copper, and gold leaf. And I also have this rose gold wax as well, Art Alchemy wax. So I think I'm gonna see what gold looks like. And this is not permanent. So the etching on the glass is permanent, but the rub and buff is not. So eventually, like if I would put this on here and then run this glass through the dishwasher, eventually the rub and buff would wear away. But since these are just for New Year's Eve, it'll be fine. So basically, you just add your rub and buff and rub and buff it on. So I'm just using a paper towel. And basically what happens is it just sticks to the areas that are etched. And I'm just making obviously added way too much. You do not need to use as much as I did. But I'm just wiping away the extra. And you're left with kind of this gold sheen.